Hi YouTube, welcome back. Today I'm going to share my first part of my Antarctica project, which I did for my geography lesson. I hope you enjoy, so let's start. The Scott Polar Research Institute, and I'm going to find out about Antarctica and what their expedition was like. So, see you there! Hello, and welcome to my documentary about Antarctica. We will be ticking off all the points from Chapter 1 to Chapter 4, as well as an extra chapter about the Scots' journey to Antarctica. Chapter 1. A. Where is Antarctica? As you can see in the map, it covers most of the South Pole. Also, here is another map which they painted on the ceiling. This is a much more geographical map. This shows you the scale east and west of Antarctica. It also includes key locations such as the Ross Sea and the Weddell Sea, as well as the Antarctic Peninsula and many other locations. As you can see, Antarctica is surrounded by the Southern Ocean, and much of its land is covered by snow. Most of it does not melt. However, ice towards the edge and coastal areas do melt in the summer. B. What is the climate like? Antarctica's climate is quite different to all the other parts of the world, except the Arctic, which has quite a similar climate. The Antarctica's climate is quite cold, and it is always constantly at a temperature in which water cannot evaporate from the sea. This is much more different to all the other places of the world, since there is always water going up into the sky. It is the coldest, highest, windiest, and driest continent. Lowest temperatures ever recorded were -89 degrees Celsius, and wind speeds can also exceed 320 kilometers per hour. In the summer, coastal temperatures can rise to 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. Since most of the snow does not melt in the interior, it is the largest desert in the world. Antarctica's precipitation is mostly snow. The average temperature is -55 degrees Celsius. Antarctica powers global currents of warm and cold water. This affects our climates. Also, Antarctica's southern sea is used to absorb more CO2, but currently it is less effective since there is more CO2 in the atmosphere, which is leading global temperatures to become warmer. C. Why is Antarctica so cold? One of the reasons Antarctica is so cold is because it is at the bottom of the world, meaning it does not get much sunlight since it is hard for the race to reach there. Antarctica get a few weeks of 24 hours of sunlight. This is the opposite in the winter, where there is a few weeks where Antarctica gets 24 hours of no sunlight. Also, Antarctica sits on ice, and the ice sits on a continent. Also, it is a high altitude, which makes its atmosphere has less greenhouse gas, which makes its heat absorption capacity decrease. Also, its low air pressures keep Antarctica colder. D. How does the temperature change during the year? The temperatures change every year. There is a table which shows the average temperature in Antarctica, but normally in the summer it can reach up to 3 to 4 degrees Celsius, and in the winter, the lowest temperature ever recorded, once again, was -89 degrees Celsius. However, it is not always this cold. E. Has Antarctica always been this cold? Antarctica was not always this cold. It was said that it could have been much warmer. Antarctica used to be part of the supercontinent called Gondwana. 140 million years ago, this vast landmass started to break up, and sections slowly drifted apart until it eventually formed the continents we know today. Also, the fact that there is oil underneath the ice means that there must have been a time when Antarctica was warm. This proves that Antarctica must have been different to the cold desert we know today. Also, there are fossils that tell us about how there used to be plants and living life forms. This would not have been possible if it is the cold desert that it is now. Also, newly discovered Antarctica plant fossils are attractive to many scientists because scientists found out about plant fossils showing that ancient plants were capable of surviving in lower temperatures and climates. Also, it being a darker place, which led to new agricultural possibilities and many other discoveries. F. How has life adapted to Antarctica's extreme environments? One of the adaptations of animals that live there is the penguin's feathers. They are also made to be in a crosshatch formation, which makes their feathers water and windproof. Also, they have thick blubber, which keeps them warm. In some other animals, this is even further refined, with the animal selectively being able to reduce blood flow to the blubber's layers. Also, whales have adapted to reduce the amount of heat loss in the ocean. Another thing is that the wildlife has adapted is to finding ways to catch prey more efficiently. This is an example of a food chain in Antarctica. Chapter 2. A. Why is Antarctica important to some people? Antarctica is important to quite a number of people. Scientists and climatologists, bacteriologists, fishermen, oil companies, and tourists. Scientists and climatologists find out some important things that we need to know for our society to develop knowledge about places that have been untouched by humans. Bacteriologists use this place as a pristine and clean environment where they can use to conduct their experiments. However, they make sure there is no waste left there, as there is a no-waste policy that whatever they take there, they will also bring back. Fishermen find Antarctica important since it's home to many marine animals, such as whale and krill, and other animals. Oil companies find Antarctica important since it has potential to be holding a lot of oil underneath the ice, and this might be important in the future when oil prices go up and there is a high demand for oil. Tourists find this place important, since if you go there, it is very hard to do so without a lot of money, and you will be acknowledged as wealthy. Also, it is important to some tourists since they want to find out about the environment, and also it makes people want to become ambassadors for Antarctica. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. So, what concerns do you have about Antarctica and things such as tourism or scientists going there?
The scientist side is fine. They have a zero waste policy, so anything that goes there is also brought back with them. There's also some key research into bacterial influences on Antarctica, so the potential for bringing bugs with you that can affect the local flora and fauna and animals. But tourism is a key part of conservation. It's fantastic to get the opportunity to go down it, although it's very expensive if you've had a look. It does raise key issues, but it also comes with other issues such as things like if you've ever seen the super cruise ship in Southampton. And you see the oil in the water. There's things like that become a bit problematic. But
do you think that they shouldn't be allowed to go to Antarctica, or do you think we should still allow them to continue to go?
If it can be done ethically without pollutants, then absolutely. But it's the same with North Pole. It's good for getting money to raise for conservation efforts and things, but it also has some drawbacks.
Do you think oil exploration should be allowed? Because apparently there's oil in Antarctica.
There is. They have tried to look for it. It's very costly, so at the moment they've said no, because the cost of getting it and having icebreakers there to try and get at it is far outweighs the actual price and worthwhileness of this.
And right now there's an Antarctica treaty and they're agreeing on sharing the land.
and keeping it safe, but do you think this should be changed in any way, or should it stay the same?
Definitely stay the same. It's the one place on Earth where you'll have people from different nations talking, communicating, sharing information, sharing ideas without prejudice. It's one of the nicest, politically correct places on Earth. You'll get, this particular area, you'll see countries that usually, ironically, don't get on. Actually, very nice. There's lots of,
I see. And why do you think Antarctica can be important to some people?
I think it's important because it's one of the last wildernesses on Earth. It's one of the few places where, aside from scientists and a few tourists, it's one of the most untouched places on Earth, and it's very unique in what it is and how it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
The link for the second part is in the description below, so if you're really into this project or you want to hear my thoughts about this museum, please check it out. Please subscribe to my channel so I can keep making my videos. Thank you for watching!